Evening, guys. Welcome to tonight's hangout in the crib. As you can see, there is no BP Prof tonight. However, I have got Chuck with us. We have also got Tyler, the noob.
Whee.
So, um, well, what we're going to talk about today is this week's changes, new waypoint system, and some stuff about the Forsaken Wallet Wars. So we'll get that done and go from there. My YouTube is
Sort it out. For God's sake. We don't have any of this on the Friday show.
get on. It's usually one of us anyway. At least hasn't got it done. So there we go. So
Right,
there we go. I suppose I best start with the slides then,
let's go.
if we can actually get it to work this time.
We're missing the BP Prof's expertise here.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's got two screens, isn't he? So,
Yeah.
so
Rumour has it is not on because he felt sexually harassed on the Friday show.
more than likely. So can we see that?
Yeah, it's on, mate.
Right, I do. So as you said, Toybox FAT3 or Wallet Wars 3. Few server problems. So let's go through this. So as everybody probably has realised, there has been some server issues this week. So there was a nice post made by Doom Rooster saying I wanted to take some time to address the issues in the game experienced over the weekend in an official capacity. So on the 22nd and the 23rd, there was several ongoing problems with the servers. So basically, we couldn't play. The team's been working on it, and it's stabilised and it's kept us up and running. So that's that. So as a result of this, this week's Forsaken mission is going to be 5 days instead of 3 days for completion, because of the amount of people that missed out last week. Also, people that missed out on the Let It Burn campaign last week will get an opportunity to do that, as well as the token campaign this weekend. So that's Saturday and Sunday, 29th and the 30th. So you've got those two to do that. So it's Let It Burn for the uranium and Smoke and Token for the tokens. This week, so that's about it. The Forsaken Arena tournament begins this Thursday, 27th, which is tomorrow. So look forward to that. Anybody got anything they want to say about the server issues?
Go on, Chuck, because I know you put in a few tickets, didn't you, and got a decent bit of compensation back off it.
About the tickets,
Yeah.
I haven't had any problems with tickets. They pretty much give me 100 coins every one time. I sent one in during the issues that they've had. So,
To be fair, they've been pretty good, really, over this, I think.
yeah,
You understand that, obviously, because it's such a grind to get to that tier 4 now in the Forsaken mission. That was a really big issue for a lot of people, and they have been quite good with giving the gold out for that. So well done, Kicks, on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I put in 3 tickets. I put in one on basically each day. Every time I crashed or couldn't get in, I just sent in another ticket. And obviously, bearing in mind that I coin very little, I think the only reason I make the cut for support is because of gifts I've sent people rather than coins I've actually spent myself. So I must be like just scraping over it, and they sent me 50 gold back on each one, and I worked it out, and basically it stopped me from getting tier 4, but the 150 gold, if I wanted to, I could have coined to get tier 4, and like coined the repairs on 85, so I thought it was pretty decent, to be fair.
yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Should we move
They've
on?
sent me 615 since with some issues in the raid and the other issues, I've gotten 615 back from them. So that's an improvement.
Yeah.
Definitely. Shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's go.
So, updates, bug fixes, and changes. Corrected a text error in the store pop-up. Not sure what text error that was, but
Yeah.
congratulations for those grammar Nazis and stuff. It's all correct in there now, apparently. Fixed bug where the Hellstar could only remote target off of one type of drone per combat. So if you're lucky enough to have a Hellstar, now you can use your drones from your Hellstar and your drones from your Firebats in order to remote target again, because it's been fixed. And they've made a change to battle controls, which we'll go through next. Anybody want to comment in about the bug fixes and tuning? Is there anything that you would have liked to have seen done that hasn't been done, rather than fixing the text error in the store?
I'm guessing there's been no official comment on what Legman had that he's mentioned in the Friday show about people getting like a ridiculous amount of coins after. I'm guessing they've kind of hushed that one up a bit and it's just been sort of swept under the carpet, as it were, because there hasn't been an official comment on that, has there?
Not that I've seen.
No, and obviously that was a bit of a major fuck up. So, but yeah, other than that, I guess the textual error and the Hellstar thing. I don't think I've been hit or ever hit a base with a Hellstar yet. But I'm guessing that because they released what is it? Just their drones they were retargeting off. I'm not really sure. Yeah. But happy days if you've got one, I guess. They're going to be even more. I saw someone on the Alliance crib getting pretty passionate about it. Oh, I told you my Hellstars weren't working properly or something. But yeah.
Yeah, that might have been tougher, I think, probably. Okay. Right, so next slide. So the new waypoint and AI features. So as you all might have seen, if you've logged in the last day or so, we now have waypoints available. And when you click now, you get lines in front of your boat showing you the route that they will take to that particular spot that you've designated them to. So you can set up multiple waypoints by using shift and click. Shift and click also will still work to change targets whilst on the move, so there's no change to that. You can restart the AI by using the S key. So you can see the differences. You can see the multiple waypoints here, so you can set up a bunch to go around. This is really good for subs and bases where you can sneak past the thermal ranges of stuff. So you can make your ship go right to the edge of the channel and then scoot along in the same line on the edge of the channel rather than it coming across like it used to.
Yeah.
It works out really well for that.
Also might be useful if you're using a tank and you know, like sometimes, for instance, I've got my Jug X and my Mastodons, and if I want to keep the Jug X closer to the turrets, that'll make that easier now because I can just send it along. Like I'll be able to see the lines to make sure it's going up the inside, so that'll probably make it easier. In like the mission targets, that is, but obviously you could use that for everything.
Yeah, I mean,
so yeah. For
me, this is going to be quite good for me because I do have a habit of autoing the targets for the Forsaken mission, mostly because it balls the death out of me after I've done about 2 or 3. So it's going to be good because it's going to reduce my damage, because sometimes you get one of the ships that splits off from the rest of them. They don't go the way that they usually go just because there's been like change in something, or you've not quite attacked it at the right angle or whatever.
Yeah.
So for me, this is quite good. You know, you can set your path through, like if you, for instance, if you're going to hit an 85, you can set the where you want to go all the way around the base and then just exit it and leave it to go out. So that's pretty cool.
It'd be pretty cool if people could like set up like default waypoints as well for someone lazy like me. If someone wants to do like a Nighthawk one for prepping 65s, like the quickest way possible, and I can just send my Nighthawks in and out, and like there's a specific point on the map that means they time it right, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like you'd come out to the maximum you could. That'd be quite useful. I don't think it's going to make the game any worse. Put it that way. It's only adding another dimension that you don't need to use them. It doesn't affect any ships that are already in place. So
No,
there's no downside to it really.
it's quite good. I quite like it. I don't know what Chuck thinks. What do you think, Chuck? Is it something that you've been looking for?
I hope that it fixes an issue that I experienced during the raids where I pretty much lose control of my fleet and they all start going in different directions and I can't do anything. One of the few raids back where I spent $237 on the raid, I wasn't able to get the APOC mortar because I had an overall issue of this happening. So I'm kind of hoping in the long run this fixes this issue that I run into during raids where my fleet just completely goes nuts and I'll be clicking one direction and they'll go the other and I'll be sitting there looking like an idiot because I'm trying to help somebody or vice versa, and it's like, dude, Chuck, what are you doing? I can't control. It's not my fault. There's nothing I can do. I'm just hoping it fixes that because I don't play around when I play the raids. Like last raid, I went through 4,000 coins, and it's just one of the, I don't want to be busting that kind of money off and having issues like that. So I'm hoping it fixes that issue.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I have to agree. Hopefully it'll fix that in bases as well. When you get that and you're hitting a base, and it seems to happen quite a lot with hellhounds when they're in overdrive, and you get like a lag spike.
Yeah.
You try and change the direction of something, and then all of your boats will like turn in different ways and go to different places and stuff like that. Hopefully this will change that. And they'll all still go to the same place at least, rather than splitting up and you having like 2 boats over there and 3 boats over there, or 1 over there, 2 here, 2 there. So yeah, hopefully that will sort that.
I think it will definitely be. Sorry, I was just saying, I think it will definitely be useful for like chore targets, like you're saying, like the missions and similar sort of things where you can't really be asked to drive around. Even some salvages, like some salvage situation potentially, where you wanted to send a specific ship in front or something, or like, for instance, an example would be enforcers. Like if you wanted to say you had a sub and a Triton and you wanted to sort of make their ranges a bit different, that sort of thing, to make sure that the ships got towards you. I think it would just be useful for chores in the game, really. I don't think it's going to be good enough to replace driving, because when you're driving, obviously you can adapt to it quicker, but it's not a bad sort of alternative for things where it's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I think most of us were like, wow, waypoints. We've been wanting waypoints for ages, but we didn't really want them for combat, and I know certainly I didn't really sort of expect it for combat. I was more thinking waypoints for base defense, because you have that patrol range, and you can set it up so that when people come in, you can get it to move to certain places. But what you'll find is that if they change the angle at which they come into your base, it changes the way that your fleet moves, and sometimes it works out good for you, sometimes it works out bad for you. So I think we sort of wanted it for that, purely to sort of make it more sort of, yeah.
Well, the thing is you can manipulate the base guard, can't you?
Yeah.
You can sort of make it so it you can kind of draw out at points. I know I've seen that done, where because the patrol range it moves closer. If it moves to wherever it can fire at you, doesn't it? So if you like drag it out into the channel, so it can shoot at you and then prep it out while you're not under fire from other stuff,
Yeah.
and things like that. So it would have been useful in base guard. I agree. I think a lot of people wanted to see it implemented as a base guard option, and it would definitely help base defense, I think, as a whole, because the patrol range is really limited. I mean, waypoints, if you're driving, then you can do them, and the auto, when you're autoing something, it kind of works not as good as this, but it doesn't normally much worse. It's only, like you say, if your ship splits off. Being base guard, the patrol range is really limited, so it would have been nice in there.
Yeah. So that's that. Shall we move on to the next slide? Anybody else got anything they want to say about the waypoints?
No, it's just something that's going to be, we're going to have to get used to. It's going to take a little bit, but other than that, I think y'all covered it.
Cool. So, the Forsaken Arena Tournament, or Forsaken Wallet Wars, as we like to call it. So there have been a number of changes. The prize pool is now 300 players, so it's not the 250 or 500 that we used to. You must fight a battle in order to get seeded, so you won't be getting put into it just by logging in anymore. The toolbox rules are unchanged. You're going to have rank 15, 60% bonus, no shipyard or retro bonuses. You will be allowed to use cruising rockets, and there will be a 50% repair time independent of the dock. So you've also got the fleet costs here, so you get your first fleet free. It's 10,000 uranium or 30 gold for the second, 15,000 or 35 for the third, 20,000 or 40 for the fourth, and 30,000 or 45 gold for fleet 5. There hasn't been a post of Toybox contents yet. After speaking to Doomrooster today, it's unlikely that we'll probably get one, as the list is, in his words, very long, to the point where it's almost better to mention the things that aren't included rather than those that are. So if you're expecting the list, don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, so that sounds like there's definitely going to be everything that was in the last couple of tournaments are going to be still going to be in there.
Yeah, I thought so.
I mean, for me, that's probably a good thing, because haters going to hate, but all I do is use the drone fleet that Larry showed me in the first one, and I've been using that since, and it's been doing me all right. So I'll be using that again. I'm glad Kicks aren't pulling that, because I'm not very imaginative enough to think of another decent one.
Yeah, you'll probably just wait until, if they're not in there, you'll probably just wait until we figure something out in the admin.
Yeah,
and then
I'll wait until it comes in the admin chat, and then right, let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, the uranium costs are the same, aren't they? That's what they were last time.
Yeah.
So no change there. The rules still the same. The only thing I'm confused on is this must fight a battle to get seeded thing.
So
and I know we were talking about this in the pre-show, Earth.
basically, in previous Forsaken Arena tournaments, what happened was it automatically put you into group as soon as you logged in into the game, not even into the arena. So now it's not going to put you into a group until you actually fight a battle in the arena. So it stops people, there's people that had just logged in, they haven't fought any battles or anything like that, but they were in a group and they got some of the uranium from the prize pool and stuff like that. So it just basically stops that.
So does that mean, and it'd be good if we get confirmation of Kits of this before it starts, which I might put a forum post on tomorrow, but does that mean it's going to be done on when you join, or But because for basically my thinking is then if it's going to work like that, then surely it's just going to go in the order that it did before, of you were in basically from when you started.
Yeah, pretty much. I would have thought.
So if you join late again, then you're potentially going to get a group of people that have just joined. Just a thought, but I'm guessing it's still going to work like that.
It's something that we've always said, that you tend to find that the groups are a little bit easier if you leave it a little bit before you log into it.
Yeah,
Mostly because the people who are gagging for it, in a way, that really want to get on and get as many battles in as possible, are usually the first ones to log in. So if you hold off a bit, you're probably going to get into an easier group.
well,
It's
my
not it's a
yeah,
guarantee,
but
but
I mean, yeah, uh, I did a test in the last one, um, where I've got a couple of friends that play the game, believe it or not. So we all joined basically at the same time. We were actually around each other's house, so we all just went on to start the arena, and we all got put in the same bracket. So I'm pretty confident it's literally directly, as in when you start, you go in. Now the thing is, well, the only reason not when I obviously we're allowed different accounts on different platforms. So my one on the Armour Games platform, I joined like really late, like on the Sunday night. And I know I've said this before, but I ended up finished first in the bracket with a level 33, and got got limited blueprint, or the limited skin and whatever. Now, I think the only reason not to do that this time might be because it's well, we're going on to the prizes now anyway, aren't we?
yeah,
But because it's a sub, potentially in a sub fleet, obviously you'd like to run four if you could. B-Torps aren't particularly heavy. You can normally fit four in a fleet, so you'd like to run four. And the only way to get four is to either win the whole thing, or to get how many points does that have? 6,000, which is quite a lot, really. It's a lot for me anyway. So to get four, you either got to win the bracket, or you're only going to get three. So that might be a reason not to start late, is to get in straight away and get your points up. But yeah, just thinking about strategies of way to do it to get the top prizes.
so as we said, second one was the toy box. Regular ships, we don't know. Weapons, we don't know. Flagships, we don't know. All we can say is what we've heard from Doom Rooster is that there's a lot in there. There's more things in there than are not. So it looks like it's probably going to be a nice free for all again. So that's that one. So our recycled advice on taking win the tournament. Nighthawks Phantom is probably in there, so don't forget your sub defense. Aegis is probably in there. Don't forget UAV power cells for carriers, laser targeting for mastodons. 60% rank on high-end hulls will favour low salvo weapons like the Arbalest and Siege Missile over the Buzzard and the F launcher. Build time doesn't matter to experiment, but don't forget that you've got to repair the fleets at half rate. So that's pretty much quite simple stuff. We say it every month. It's really good advice. So
Yeah,
the amount of people that I've met in there that don't have any sub defense whatsoever in their fleet is crazy. Pain Train done his last time. I think he got, was it either third or second or something like that.
yeah,
Just
top five, wasn't
yeah, just using Phantom Nighthawks in there, just because of the pure number of people that didn't have any sub defense. So can't tell you enough how much the sub defense is going to be a big part of it. Of course, if you're not going to run a sub defense hull, make sure you've got at least an XL daisy cutter at all times, because then as soon as they pop up, drop it on them. Good night. See you later. Just a little thought. It's one thing that I do quite a lot in open water when I get sniped by people.
Drop a nice XL on them and
Yeah, drop a
that,
nice XL daisy and wipe out their entire fleet in one go. So it's all good fun. Anybody else want to add any advice to our tournament advice?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of fleets to run, I know I said I run a frosty lead with 4 drones, and just spin them and spread them off the bat, and that normally does me fairly well. If if you're struggling for a fleet and you can't drive like I can't, that's normally a good one to use. I don't know what you run in the tournament, Earth.
I run something similar. What I usually do is put a Gore Saber in to counter the fleet that you've got.
Yeah,
I put a Gore Saber in there with obviously Dragonfly rockets on. I use an Aegis just to reduce any damage for anything that comes in through. And I use the obviously the drones that you're on about as well. It's always a good little match up really.
yeah.
A lot that really gets past it, to be honest.
Yeah, I've had a few battles against fleets like that. Normally I end up like the Aegis is always a nice one because in general drones outdo drones. So when I come out, like if you've got a 4 drone fleet against a 3 drone fleet, normally I come out on top if I spread them right. But yeah, they're the fun matchups. The other one is it's always fun coming up against Crusaders because you can actually kite them. So they kite my drones until I'm drained, and then like either I time out or they win. What about you, Chuck? What do you run in the arena?
I run a mix. I'll open all 5 slots. The last arena I did not participate in. I wasn't impressed with the ship at all. So I didn't even. I think I ran one battle. This one I'll actually open all 5 slots. I generally will run Crusaders. Um, I like I said, I just set up 5 different fleets and test out and see what's working for me. Um, Hopefully this time they'll put enough stuff in there. If they put any of this new tech in there that they've just come out with, it'd be nice.
It'd be nice
So
to see what you get really. It's something that we've been saying for the last couple of months. Why not add the new tech in there so that people know what it does, so they can have a play with it and see whether they actually want to build it or not. It's going to give
yeah,
a more incentive for people to build the stuff if they can play about with it first.
Do you think, say, if the rhinos in their Earth, that'd be a better alternative to mastodons? I'm presuming it would be really. You've got 5 specials in there, haven't you? So even though it's got the lower remote targeting, I know a few. I've come up against a few proto mastodons. You might be better off running the rhino now, in place of that.
I mean, it's going to be good because it's got a lot of other things that buff it really.
Yeah,
Its speed's a lot higher. You can get the evade on it a lot higher. It's got more weapon slots, it's got more special slots. It has an unreactive ability as well, which is
yeah.
extremely low. It's very, very, very hard in order to shockwave them. So it's probably a better option than the Mastodon.
And I mean, I know we've talked quite a lot about the high DPS of the Fusion Cruiser and how powerful it is. Could you see a fleet of them holding up their own this raid, or do you think they'd get outdone by Blitz fleet like Corsairs and Crusaders?
Well, the thing is, what you've got to think about really is, um, there's a weakness against every weapon in the game, and it's just getting something that's getting a mix right in which you're sort of balancing all of the different items that could possibly come your way. If you go all one way, then it could backfire quite badly. Launches are terrible against drones, so
Yeah,
you probably want to mix in something with a big splash in order to get rid of the drones, like a Gore Saber. So a bulbous Gore Saber or something like that, if that's
or
available to use.
if yeah, potentially an unshackled hellhound in front. You could stick rocket. You could stick like depth charges on that, couldn't you?
Yeah,
Um, and then run. Then you get the radioactive reload as well. Then, wouldn't you? Or run it with the Crusaders potentially.
yeah, something you want something that's going to be able to kill those drones. Really, if you're going to run through your cruisers. So,
Yeah,
should we move on?
yeah.
Morning.
Quite nice of you to show up.
Fuck you, you kid.
Right. So the brackets for prizes. If you're first, you're going to get the Wailing Banshee paint job, 4 Banshees, one 24-hour token, 2 12s, and 6 ones. 3 Banshees for second to 10, 1 24, 1 12, 2 twos, so 2 ones. 11, you're going to get the 2 and the 1 12-hour, 26 to 50s, 1 Banshee, and then you're going to get your Road Cruise and your ship drum tokens for the 151 to 300. One thing I will say is that it's been stated on the forum that you can only have a maximum of 4 Banshees. So if you're in first, you're more than likely going to have got the 6,000 extra points that you require in order to get an extra Banshee. So you're going to end up with 5. So it'd be nice to get some clarification as to if you are first, you are going to get that, or you can swap it for what was originally put in there as a Valkyrie, or what you're going to get for it. So, also there's a 200,000 uranium pool split between the players, depending on how many points you get. Anybody else want to make any comments?
The only thing I want to say on this is that people might be disheartened with only 2 subs, because most sub fleets you run with 4, you don't generally see sort of a 1 ship Nighthawk fleet. You're going to see 4 of them. All I'd say is, even if you only pick up 1 Banshee, at the minute I still use my Spectres a lot as decoys in 65s. Even in some raids they've been useful in the past. So even if you only pick up 1 Banshee, that's still really useful. It's got a really long cloaking time. I think I worked out that with the bat you're going to be coming up to like 2 minutes, maybe just over. So it's worth picking up just 1, and to only need to come in the top 50 and pick up 1 Banshee, that's pretty good going, I think. So yeah, just make sure you're getting at least 1 of them, and that will help you a lot in the future.
I just want to add to that. Even with just 3 Banshees, it's going to be pretty good for subbing bases out, because you've got the 8 weapon slots, so you can get a pretty good DPS on the go. With that downtime, like Tyler said, the extra slots that you've got in there, so you can add a speed upgrade if you want to, or add a concussive damage upgrade. It's going to come in very handy, and you're probably only going to need the 3 over the 4 or the 5 like you would with a Phantom Nighthawk. It's just my opinion, but you're probably only going to need 3 to equal it out, really. Don't know what your thoughts on it are, Payne? Or has he gone?
No, I'm here. Yeah, the new sub looks good. It looks stupidly expensive to fix. I already know how having armor on subs is ridiculous to fix with my 2-day 9-hour repair on Nighthawks. And let's just say if I transferred my build and a similar idea onto this new sub, I'd probably be looking at 3 or 4 days to fix the bloody things. But I would probably get into almost any base. It's just going to be a ridiculous repair.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of ways that they're going to be useful. I think is pretty much what we're going to get at, really. Chuck, have you got any opinion on the new stuff, mate?
Wakey, wakey, Chuck.
I've got my mute on. I'm sorry. I have my own mute on my headset. My speakers aren't working, but my stupid mic is. So, yeah, pretty much. I've looked it over with submerged time being able to retrofit enough weapons. I look at it as hopefully being able to something I can prep out, maybe some guard and some bases and stuff. So I'm actually probably gonna shoot for a couple of them. I'm not gonna try to win the tournament by any means. I've done that before, and I'm not gonna do it again. But I'll at least shoot to get a couple of them.
Okay, cool. Right, so I think the next slide we've got some stats. Oh, no, extra prizes. So if you get 300.
About obviously I missed the beginning. Have you mentioned how obviously with the limit and how many you can win, that it's probably only really useful if you can get at least 3. I mean, having 2 of them's probably still possible, but with the amount of firepower you've got, you might be still better using 5 Nighthawks in that situation.
Yeah, that's why I said about using it, even if you only pick up 1 or 2, using them as decoys and that sort of thing. Because obviously, a Banshee decoy, I bet there'll be a video that comes out of someone hitting a 65 with three Crusaders and a Banshee decoy and taking almost no damage, because they'll just be able to go through it, and the Banshee will pretty much stay under for 2 minutes while they take out the whole of the 65 and blitz through the middle. So even if you only get 1, I've just looked, and with Bat 3 you get 133 seconds underwater with no retros, which is over 2 minutes. So you could potentially do a 65 in 1 hit with Crusaders or Fusion Cruisers and just go straight through the middle, take no damage once you've prepped out the ships. So if you pick up 1 or 2 and use them as spec decoys, or you pick up 3 and use them, 3 or 4 and use them as a Nighthawk fleet, like you would. But yeah.
Yeah, cool. So points and prizes. For 300 points, 1 hour repair token, exclusive use in the arena tournament. 500 to 2, 1,000 you get 3, and 1,500 you get 4. 2,000 points you get 6 1 hour tokens, and if you hit 6,000 you will get an additional Banshee blueprint. So as we said before, the maximum available is 4, according to the post on the forum. So if you're in first place and you're getting 4 already, and then obviously you're more than likely going to hit the 6,000 points mark, being in first, you're going to end up with 5, but you can only build 4.
You could build 5, 4 for a base hitting fleet and 1 for a separate decoy.
Yeah, but that's what means the maximum allowable in dock space, according to the forum post, is 4. It's just one of those things. So.
I want to say as well, those repair tokens, obviously they're useful, even though it doesn't seem like a big deal to some people. Because the amount of times that you're going to be losing fleets and stuff if you're really pushing for number 1 and staying for even just a top 10 in a competitive bracket, it's hardly here nor there, those tokens. I think they should be more continuous. So once you hit a certain one, they restart, and you start from the equivalent of 0 points, and you're able to work your way up and redeem more tokens, because it doesn't last, does it? Last time it was every so many wins you got tokens. I think after the first hour I'd used them all, and it's an event that lasts the whole weekend.
The last one, you got tokens after 3 wins and 5 wins, I think. And this one, obviously, it's on points. The only thing I will say with tokens is they do transfer over. So don't feel like you've got to, say you're sitting in 6th and you're not going to get top, no, that's a bad example. Say you're sitting in 7th or 8th, and you're going to stay in the top 10, but obviously you're not going to win the bracket. You could just save these tokens for the next one. I saved one from the last one, so they do transfer over. So don't feel like you've got to spend them. If it's not going to improve your game and not going to win you anything extra, then just save them and use them the next time. So yeah.
I didn't actually know that, so I didn't know that they were transferable.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Cool. So that's really good advice there, Tyler.
I do have my moments.
You do. So let's have an actual look at the Banshee. So it's an updated Spectre. So you've got more slots, 8 weapons for specials for armor. Submerged defense speed boost of 20%. Evade versus remote targeting. The base visibility is the same as the Nighthawk. So I know there's been a lot of that question asked on the forum. There's a lot of people that have been asking about that. So that is the answer to that. It is the same as the Nighthawk, which I believe is 60, is it? So it's still visible to thermal. No deluge or downpour being able to put on there. It's a 5-day build, which isn't bad, really, I don't think, for what it is.
No.
Remember as well, with the visibility, when you're hitting bases, there is a cap, regardless of what the stealth is. There's always going to be that cap in base defense anyway.
Yeah. So it's going to be the same stealth-wise as your Nighthawks anyway. So you're going to be pretty good with that.
The only other thing is there's how many armor slots are there on a Nighthawk? Is there
3?
3,
yeah, and then if you've got 4, so you'll be able to get an extra D2S panel, which will give you a bit more stealth. I mean, you never know, do you? Like, that might make a big difference, might not. The only other thing I noticed with this is the combat speed's obviously quite low. Now, I know Payne uses subs a lot, like in the arena. I'm guessing you wouldn't be swapping your Nighthawk fleet out for these in the arena, Payne, because you wouldn't be able to run away.
In some situations, yeah, I think they are completely interchangeable. Although the speed is a little bit less when you factor in the submerge effect, the way that it's underwater for longer makes up for that. Let's compare it to the Spectre. When the Nighthawk came out, everybody was saying how the Nighthawk's not going to replace the Spectre because the Spectre stays on the longer, and you have to compare how far it'll travel while it's submerged. Obviously in a base, this will likely get a hell of a lot further into a channel than the Nighthawk would, regardless of the Nighthawk having a little bit more speed. You got to remember it's got more turn speed. I think the turn speed there is the same as the Spectre at base, whereas the Nighthawk's only 15. I think I'm right in saying that. I'm just pulling them out of the top of my head.
Yeah, I've just put it in, and with speed system 5, the Banshee has 44 turn speed, 22.44 when underwater. The Nighthawk has 28.05.
You wouldn't need to put speed system on it. The turn speed's good enough, but you can just use Magnus and rank it up. You wouldn't need any thrusters or speed system if you were a good driver. You could even use a speed upgrade if you were really worried about that combat speed. It's got am I right in saying it's got an extra special to the Nighthawks as well?
Yeah, it's got 4 special slots, 4 8 weapons.
It's very easy to stick on an evade upgrade, or if you're really clever about it, a D5X even would be really useful considering its stats already. Just helping reduce your repair time, because it is going to be a massive repair time on this. With regards to open water combat, Tyler, I think the Nighthawk will be better in an average situation, but if you can get that combat speed up with a speed upgrade or something, then this is going to be a hell of a lot better, because you've got more maneuverability time, so you can be more tactical in the way you approach an enemy ship to kill it. because of the amount of time you're underwater for. If that
Oh,
makes sense.
I've just compared the two, and a Banshee with a speed upgrade and Magnus compared with a Nighthawk with Magnus. The Nighthawk underwater has 29.7. The Banshee has 26.4. But that's not bad, really, is it? I mean, that's not much of a difference considering.
You factor in retrofits there as well, because the speed upgrade and speed Magnus drive are both retrofitable separately. So if someone was to retrofit both, I know I've done, because I've got different fleets for different speeds. My Magnus is R15, and my engines are going up to R10, which includes speed upgrades. So that would obviously help the Banshee a little bit more.
And don't forget as well, 425,000 tons of cargo.
Has it got an extra weapon as well, the Banshee?
It's got
Yeah,
8.
it's got 8.
Yeah, so that will help the speed even more. An extra torpedo on there. You could
That's
even
true.
be more creative and split more, because it has got more weight. You could split more between Siege Z and B-Torps, the assault B-Torps as well. That would even increase the speed greatly.
Yeah. So something that we haven't mentioned is it's got a 30% concussive defense, 60% against missiles, and 60% against radioactive, as base standard, with the 20% combat speed. So that's a really good thing as well. We move
You could sponge a
on.
Wendigo with that.
Yeah. So if we move on, we've got a little table that we've got. Thanks for the darkalliance.org for the unlisted stats, but this is what we've found out up to now. So the whole build time with that officer is 4 days, 20 hours, 12 minutes. Cloak range is 60. Surface times 15 seconds and downtime of 95. So it's pretty much a similar surface time to your Nighthawks. Obviously, the downtimes are a lot longer, which is really good. So accuracy bonus 30%, which is cool. Base armor is a lot higher than the Spectre and the Nighthawks, so that's pretty cool. Pretty much any sub out there. So
Concussive damage of 60% as well. I've just seen that. That's quite high, isn't it?
yeah. So basically, it outdoes everything in there pretty much. In pretty much every way, apart from the turn speed on the Spectre R5 is 5 higher. But
What did you say the submerge time was? Sorry, the rise time on that
15
new sub.
seconds compared to 14 of the Nighthawk R5.
Yeah, so just to put that into perspective, you'll only need a small long pinch to successfully pinch the island turrets long enough for you to be back under, because they're 16 seconds on a small long pinch. So just so it's to bear in mind, if you're waiting 8 hours between extra longs, extra large long pinches, you don't necessarily need extra large longs just when prepping bases. A small or a medium is more than enough in most situations.
Mm-hmm. So as you can see, it is actually a shorter build time than the Nighthawk as well, by 1 hour, pretty much. So it's got a lot of good things going for it, I think. There's loads of it, loads of good stuff there. Um, you know, right, maybe the combat speed could do with a little bit of a buff, but it's good. I like it. Right. Is there anything else that anybody wants to add before we move on? I'll take that as a no then.
Yeah, we're good.
Also, just always to bear in mind with new ships is at some point they're probably going to get a retrofit. So I'd always tell people to bear that in mind. The Nighthawk obviously might go to R10 at some point. This hasn't even seen R5, so whatever you think about the Nighthawk being better at some point, this is gonna it's gonna change that, when it gets a retrofit. So if you're planning ahead in the long term, you have to remember those as well.
Right, so we have the wading Banshee model. That's price of being in first. Looks pretty cool. Which one do you prefer, this one or that one?
I'm not awfully bothered, to be honest. It's gonna be underwater for most of the battles, so no one's gonna see it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the same as anything.
I still think it's cool though.
We said the same when the Nighthawk skin came out, didn't we?
Yeah, I am a fan of the R5 Nighthawk though. I think I'm always a fan of something slightly different. So I like originality and differentiation between other players.
Yeah. Right. So, if you're planning on getting first, that's what it'll look like. So, here we go. Another big announcement. This week we have had it confirmed that Outpost 7 is in fact confirmed and is being aimed at a September release.
Wasn't that confirmed about 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, but
I suppose they didn't mention September, did they?
Yeah, but it's now been confirmed that it's aimed at September release. So, yeah, cool.
Do we know if that's going to mean another dock or, another weapons lab upgrade, or is it just going to be the outpost?
Have a look at the facial expression of the woman, and that should answer your question.
That's all we know. Oh, you knew. I wouldn't mind. I even showed you the slides before we started.
All right, I'm not used to this Wednesday show stuff, am I?
Silly youth.
So yeah, that's all we know is that it's confirmed, it's coming, and it's possibly going to be in September.
We could hazard a guess, based on what we've seen on Outpost 6 and stuff. Maybe more turrets, more land. I mean, I think that's almost a given, isn't it? More land and
fuel
turrets.
required to upgrade walls, and probably uranium as well. But we'll probably get a new level of wall, a new level of turret, possibly wall base power, which would be quite good.
But I think that's the most important thing. One of the most important things is base power.
So yeah, I mean, we keep on getting these ultra high damage weapons that are coming in. You need to try and fend them off a little bit. A bit of extra base power is always good. Extra high turrets would be good as well. I would have thought, judging by the stats on the XL bunker buster, that we're probably going to get another level of turret. Since the large bunker buster now does 20,000 damage, and the XL does 32, is it? I think. So, I mean, that would probably, my sort of spidey senses would be saying that there's an extra turret level coming in. So those of you that haven't already upgraded your turrets, start doing so. So you can get a bit higher. We might see an extra dock upgrade, possibly. So yeah.
That sounds expensive. All those refits.
Yes, it does.
We all loved it on Outpost 6. I'm sure we're going to love refitting the fleets again.
Well, am I right in saying that when the Hellstar blueprint come out, maximum weight for that is above what it is in the dock currently?
It was, but they rectified that a few updates ago, I think, on the bug fixes and stuff. And
Yeah.
I can't imagine them changing the weight on the Hellstar now back to what it was. So if you
Well,
go to
no,
Hellstar, I think it is what it is. But
that might have given you an indication about as to if they do upgrade the dock, as to what weight that they would upgrade it to.
yeah, could do, I suppose.
Maybe, but who knows? It's all a guessing game because we know nothing. So that's that. And yeah, it's the BP Prof's new little spot that he's now decided to do. In his absence, it's up to me. This week's kick size score ups. So we talked about it earlier. The game's been unstable and down most of the weekend on the 22nd and 23rd of August. Not necessarily kick size fault. It turns out that it was an external provider that cocked up there. But again, not good. If we want to play, we can't play. Waypoints, I have to agree. The priority for waypoints for me would have really been base guards. I know we've been having a lot of people contacting me saying the same. Are we possibly even going to see it in the future where we can have it for base guards?
This could be an indicator of the possibility of it happening now. Now they've got that kind of feature there where you can put a waypoint in battle. I don't see how hard it is to transfer something similar to base guards so that you don't have a patrol that pretty much makes your ships go out for a Sunday drive around your base and do their own thing.
Yeah, so it'd be really cool if we could have waypoints for base guards, because that's what we really wanted, to be fair. But yeah, but waypoints is cool. It's good for subs and stuff and other things that we mentioned earlier. So we're quite happy with that. Just not so happy that we didn't do it for base guards. This week's Kickstarter breakthrough, with the waypoints being able to toggle AI on and off with that. That's pretty cool. And we also liked Doom Rooster's trolling item as well on the forum. Troll bait everywhere. So yeah, that was quite funny. I did enjoy that myself.
Fight trolling with trolls.
Yeah, fight trolling with trolls. So yeah, it's cool. Does anybody else want to add things to this? I think
Yes.
something that I want to add to it is I want to applaud Kick Size way in which they've dealt with what's happened at the weekend. They've been quite forthcoming with compensating people for it.
The response time was really good as well. I know
Yeah,
it was an automated response. People always bitch about automated responses, but a lot of times they're there for the greater good. This is an indication of that. I think people would prefer an automated response, giving them gold and getting them out there quicker to be able to catch up with the things they've lost over the game being down, rather than waiting and not getting it until after the weekend. So I really want to thank them for their response. I think we're looking at an average of 4 or 5 hours. I don't think I've seen people waiting more than 6 hours for a ticket response, which was really good.
yeah, I have to agree. I think it's really good. I think they've dealt with it really well. They've compensated correctly in most cases. I think it's been good, and of course the addition to the Forsaken mission this week, they've given an extra 2 days to everybody in order to complete the mission this week, which is absolutely fantastic for those of you that missed out last week. It's going to give you a bit more of an opportunity to catch up by doing it over, starting over. So yeah, I think it's good. And of course running the campaign again. If anybody missed Let It Burn last week, it's running again this week as well. So yeah, really good. I applaud you, Kickside. Anybody else want to add anything to this one this week? Tyler?
No, mate.
I'm
I think you covered it.
gonna go on a small rant. I don't do it often, but the whole extending the mission thing by 2 days. I'm just gonna be honest. It's fucking bullshit. It doesn't do anything to help us. I mean, yeah, it's
Hey?
good for those. It's good for those who can't do the mission in 3 days. But here's what I'm going to say: it doesn't help make up for last week and having the outages. If you're one who can do the mission in 3 days, then you can do it in 3 days anyway, so you don't need an extension. If you can't do it in 3 days, that has nothing to do with the outages. So, it's helping people who can't do the mission in 3 days usually, which is completely fine, and it's good for them. Don't get me wrong, but it's not as a result of the outages. So,
Yeah, but you're not looking at the bigger picture though, are you? Because
no,
people might have
in the,
missed out last week, right? You can only do it once in 3 days, yeah? But with having the 5 days, they might be able to do it twice in a week this week in order to catch up on the prize they missed on last week.
I
The
see.
whole
I get that, but look at it from my point of view, right? I'm
well,
someone
it's
who
not
can do the
helping.
mission in 3 days.
That's not what
So,
it's for, though, is it? You can do the mission in 3 days, then that's all well and good. It's
but it
just
doesn't make up for the fact that people
catch
couldn't
up.
complete it last week. So think about this, right? I've done the mission last week. I attempted to get it. I know other people who did. I'm going to give you an example. Snowman, you all know Snowman. He did the mission the second time, 64.7 mil. He couldn't get on the game to finish it. His 3-day timer expired. 5 days is great for people, but how is they put the 5 days there as a way to compensate for people who couldn't do it this time. How is that 5 days helping him? Because he's not getting that prize back. He's lost the ability to get that. So there's 3 new prizes come out. People like me and him could have got 2 this weekend, and then this week's mission that started today, we would have got the remainder third prize, and then the second time we would have been getting our 48-day build token. Right? We can't get that token now because people like me and him have only got 1 prize last time. So
Yeah,
regardless of the
They'd
5 days,
probably
we're not
given him.
getting that prize.
but the point is that he'll get compensated like everybody else has for not being able to complete that. He'll get the compensation for that, won't he? Which is going to total up more than the
But
24 hours.
the compensation doesn't help. I've already ticketed them, and they say we gave you gold for the outages, and that's it, and you don't get the blueprint no matter how
Well,
much you grinded away it, which is bullshit. Because
I saw a screenshot of someone who took 200 or 300 gold for that, and what a 2-day build token is 96 coins. So 200 gold. That's
well,
right.
it's not about that. It's about the lost blueprint that you didn't get.
Yeah, but
How much
you've
do you
just
value a
You're
blueprint?
not.
Is that blueprint
But
worth 200
this
gold?
is the point, Rob. Though, because if he got once for it last week, right? He's going to be able to get for it twice this week, and he's got the gold, which would have been in place of the 48-hour build token, which is 96 coins. So even if you get 100 coins, which was
But that's not necessarily the case, because that gold for me doesn't give me enough for the build token. The gold covers the outages from the mission. It doesn't do anything to compensate for the token. That gold was useful for the time that my shipyard was idle, my retro lab was idle, my launch pad wasn't building a rocket, my dock wasn't fixing fleets. That gold is great for getting those back onto the timers that they should have been on, but it doesn't do anything to help with that token.
well, we'll just have to agree to disagree. Right.
Well, it's a mathematical fact, mate.
Well,
It's bullshit
I
on their part.
I saw people get ticketed differently because they'd missed out on a prize like you're talking about. I mean, the other point is,
You got
what would
100 points for the outage, basically, and then if you had an extra issue, like for instance missing the end of the Forsaken mission, then you would have got seen to again after that if you issued a ticket in.
Yeah,
As I very well know because I got 400 coins for it.
but that extra 100 coins though, that isn't enough to say compensate for a blueprint. I mean, how much do you value that blueprint that you missed?
but you've
Is
got
that
all the new.
blueprint worth 100 gold or not?
But the point is, there's 3 prizes added, right? 3 prizes added. He got 1 last week. He can run the campaign, the Forsaken mission twice this week in order to get the remaining 2 prizes that he's got, and he's been compensated for the 2 days that he's going to miss out on for his token for his builds.
But I get that, but that coin doesn't always compensate for the gold. For the coin for the 2-day
That's his
build
choice for what he spends the gold on, but
Well, no,
at the end of
because
the day,
the goal was to compensate for
mathematically,
other
that's
things.
what's happening, isn't it?
No, it's not, because look at my base and tell me that that's mathematically correct, and I'll give you my base, because it's not. The amount of time that my retro lab was gone, that takes time. So think about the amount of hours that things aren't building, things aren't upgrading. All that stuff adds up and adds up to a number of
Game was
coins.
down.
I
If
think
you had things upgrading or anything like that, they were still upgrading.
Not if you didn't have them on and you
Um,
couldn't get on to put them on Upgrade Earth.
yeah.
Think about it as a more, as a less
okay.
narrow-minded
How
view.
many people don't have things upgrading all of the time as a
People
general?
people who can't get on because they can't physically hit upgrade. If your shipyard finished a ship while the outages are on, how the hell are you meant to get on and put a new ship on? So if you couldn't get on them for another 12 hours, that's 12 hours you've not had a shipyard. If your retro lab wasn't on, that's 12 hours you haven't had a retro going. It all adds up. So the coins helps recover the time lost from things that haven't been building. It doesn't necessarily always help every single player with the token. Some people they'll benefit from it, some people they won't. That's my point. What I'm trying to get out there. And I know
Uh,
as a fact, me and Snowman and many others haven't benefited gold wise. So if we wanted to get that 2-day build token, we'll be spending more gold than we've received, regardless of what they say on tickets, because we've sent tickets and it hasn't been as successful as other people.
I mean, I guess then the finishing point, pain from your side, would surely be what would you have had them do instead? Because apparently, and this
Give
is
the
obviously
blueprint.
apparently according to them they can't, is what I've
They,
seen in
they can.
several
They've given
responses.
blueprints before, and it's like I said. I mean, tell me what you think if you think this is reasonable. So you send them a screenshot showing 64.7 mil, which is it's evidence enough to show that you've not just gone like, hey, look, I didn't get my mission, give me a free prize. You've shown them that you've grinded out, and it was well within the realms of possibility to get that prize and to get 2 lots of elite on both weeks. So at that point, I said in the ticket, I understand that you might not always be able to credit the what's it, the prize. So I said, if you can't do that, then at least think of the situation where I'm missing out on that token and either credit the token or the gold for the token. I understand that you've given me gold, and I detailed on there, on my ticket, exactly how much gold I've spent on my downtime, and it didn't match up, if that makes sense. I know on some people it will, but on mine it didn't. The amount of gold I needed didn't quite add up to what they gave me. So I don't see it as an unreasonable request to get that
No,
updated.
I mean I saw occasions where it did and where they gave extra in those sort of circumstances. I think it was Cookie from THG who took extra in something like that. So it seems like a more of a support issue rather. Do you know what I mean?
Well, don't get me wrong. Most people will get bonus. Most people will have something no grading. It's just really unlucky that people like me literally had things finishing all at once. Everything was finished. I had nothing building on anything. Came back on, and the only thing upgrading was a turret to level 5, and nothing else was fixing or retroing or anything. And if you can't get on the game because of the outages, I understand it's not their fault. I'm not blaming them
Yeah.
for it. I'm just saying they need to think that it's not my fault as a player either. And I can't sit up at the crack of dawn hoping that the game's going to come up for me to hit repair or to put a ship on. I've got a life, I've got things to do, but it's still lost time. And I don't know. I think they could have dealt with it a little bit better on a more individual basis.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think the ticket was dealt with fine, provided it was general. But if you had, for instance, I had 4 tickets merged together. Well, no, they were all separate issues. I didn't want to get credited 50 gold for all 3 of them. There were 3 separate times I lost a battle, and lost a fleet in battle. So I think they could have been more individual. But I think if you harass them, then they might. I saw a lot of people get credited initially, go back with, oh, hang on, I had an extenuating circumstance, and then I should have got more. And then,
I just want
yeah,
to say to Damnation on chat, he thinks I'm pissed because it wasn't around me. Like I said, it is an individual basis for everybody. I'm sure I'm not the only person who's done this. In fact, I know of at least 2 others, one in my alliance, one not, who've been in the same situation. So think about it with a more broad shoulder rather than being narrow-minded, and you'll see Damnation that people have different personal situations with response rather than a more general.
okay. Are we? I don't know if Earth's got more slides. I think that was the end.
I think he keeps dropping out. He needs to join back as the as the admin for the show, so we can actually end it.
Well, until that point, um, what do we think, guys, on the tournament? Let's just talk strategy briefly. So in terms of using crews, especially because I know we haven't really touched on that much, what sort of crews would you be looking to run to the tournament, Payne?
Considering that you can stockpile rockets, I think radar runners is a good choice. Anything that increases defense and speed is useful as well.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Chrome crashed out all weirdly and booted me, and sorry about that.
Is that us done then? Was that was the last one, wasn't it? Or you still got a couple more slides?
No, that was the last slide. So you've been enough. Anything else? Anybody else wants to bring up? That's all.
I'm done.
No, I think we covered quite a bit.
Make sure you tune into the live. Sorry, go on.
No. Righto. Okay then. Thank you guys for coming that were in chat. Really appreciate it. Obviously, we will have our Friday show with Tyler hosting this weekend. So that's at the usual time. If you want to join the show, obviously just message the BPC page and check it out for builds and stuff like that. If you have any questions at all regarding anything or any of the builds and stuff like that, you're always welcome to message us. Check out Larry's blog, bpprofitblogspot.com. Yeah, I don't think that's about it. Oh, and don't forget to use Huddy's best ship builder site for the game. And we shall see you next Wednesday for the update show. Back on track again, as last week was just a bit of a cock up because of the pushback of the update. So we will have the Friday community show separated from the update shows from now on. Thanks for coming, and we'll catch you all later.
See you later, guys.
See ya.